This program is brought to you by Emory University.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Here we go. Welcome. Good morning. I'm Ethan Rosenzweig. I'm the Dean of Admission and Financial Aid here at Emory Law. Welcome for what otherwise would be a snow day here at Emory, but we're very happy you're here with us on this unseasonably cool day that is going to warm up. We have been checking the weather. Again, I'm Ethan Rosenzweig. I graduated here in class of 2002. This is our favorite day of the year, especially for me, because we spent the last 8 months reading every one of your files, talking about them. I've personally looked at every file and read them. And we finally get to put a face to who you are. And that's a big deal for us, because you will be an Emory lawyer for the rest of your life. And we say that fairly seriously, because when we're looking for people to join our community, we're looking for people to not just be an amazing leader and student, community member, which you all have been in your undergrad and your other experiences, but to hold the Emory banner and proudly wear that throughout your legal career. Today is a fun day because you're going to get all the academic questions answered. You're going to meet our professors, the main reason that you're looking at a community where to matriculate. But you can also ask us the other questions, such as, is the food good? So you can ask me about that. You can ask our students about that. Where should I live? Do I need my car? And then the question that I'm still embarrassed, but I guess I don't feel like I'm getting older, but everyone else just keeps saying the same age every year that we bring in. But the question that I ask myself always is, would I have the same friends from my previous experiences? And for me, it was college and grad school. Will I have the same type of cohort of people that I really enjoyed being with in law school? That was very, very important for my decision making, because I knew the schools all had what I wanted, but it was the community and the people. So I hope as you're looking around, you're actually talking to each other, because these are your cohorts and your colleagues for your legal career, and these are the people who will join you. It's very, very important to us that you test us out, you kick the tires. We're not embarrassed to say this. It's an investment. We know that. We know every one of you is making a huge investment, both financially, with your time, and with the career path you're choosing to be here. So you need to ask us the tough questions. You need to make sure this feels right. People always come and ask me, more on the phone than in person. I guess I don't know if I'm intimidating or not, but they come and they call and say, why should I come to Emory? They say it that way. And I'm always like, you need to feel it. It needs to feel right for you. Because what we don't want to have happen is for you to come and say, gosh, I don't know if this was right. We want it to be right from day one. Because the first day you get here, we're expecting you to do everything that you accomplish in your application. You told us we're expecting you to do all of that and more. So we want you to be ready to lead this community forward from the first day of orientation through the last day of graduation, through the first day you're elected to the Alumni Board, get your job, join the judiciary, whatever other career paths you choose. Got a lot of speakers for you today. I'll be around to make sure we're guided through this. We're going to head to the law school later. I'll talk about that. 2 important things. One, I ordered a lot of breakfast, and I can't bring all those Nutri-Bars back to my house, although I already have a bag for some of them, so for later next week. So you've got to go get more food. So we are okay with you getting up. The dean's not going to call on you if you stand up to get more food or more coffee to get a little wake up, because I know it's early. So please do that. First thing. The second thing, all those people in the blue shirts behind you that say Emory Law, which you will get at the end of the day, our current students and our ambassadors, they got up, so school starts between 8:30 and 10, but y'all know, getting up at 7:30 is probably not number one on a lot of people's lists. These guys got up very, very early to be here all day. We have about 140 students that are going to be here all day with you, so please make sure you talk with them as well. It's my pleasure to introduce our Vice President of the Student Government Association here. We call it the Student Bar Association, Bo Goodrick. Bo is a 2L. He is the Vice President of Student Programming here. which means that he plans everything from academic activities to social activities to ensuring that our community bonds and has great extracurricular opportunities that complement the classroom experience. He is from California, a USC Trojan. I will not mistake that for the other school in California. We have people there too, Bo, so you can fight them later. And he's in our Tiger program, so if you're interested in IP, he's a great person to talk with. And it's just my privilege to introduce Bo Goodrick.
Thank you, Ethan. As Ethan said, my name is Bo Goodrick, and I am going to be the next person to welcome you to Emory Law. As Ethan said, I'm the Vice President of Student Programming for the Student Bar Association, essentially, student government. And I'm just going to take up a little bit of your time. I know it's early. And so some of the things the Student Bar Association does is basically plan events trying to build community within the law school. Some of the things we do include having Emory Night at Braves games. We've been able to get half-price tickets for Hawks games where we were all able to high-five the Hawks players on their way out of the court, which was a pretty cool experience. We rent out event spaces for Barrister's Ball, which is essentially a law school prom, and Harvest Moon Ball, which is a big costume party that we do around Halloween every year. And then we also do things, such as something we were trying to do this year but we couldn't was, a FIFA tournament throughout for the school. Other than that, there's a huge emphasis here at Emory placed on student involvement. Here at Emory, the goal is for you to be able to accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish in your time here, and the faculty is here to assist you in doing that. You can do anything from representing our team to play on the UVA softball or the softball team at the UVA tournament. You can take part in a Tiger program. You can write an amicus brief to the Supreme Court. You can start a organization based on space law. You can do whatever it is that you want to do, and everyone's here to help make sure that you can do that as well. However, in addition, there's also a huge emphasis placed on academics because that's what you're here for in the first place. With the help of multiple deans, we have a Study Smarter program where you can go to class and actually learn how to take notes and learn how to take tests and stuff like that, which is very helpful. I was an engineering major. The last time I took a multiple choice or essay exam was in high school. So that was a really nice thing for me because it's slightly different. Our Office of Career Service is wonderful. Their goal is the exact same as yours, and that's to get you a job. And if you ever need any motivation for that, it's great because you can look at the Atlanta skyline, and the greatest buildings out there are all law firms. So that's a really easy pick-me-up. In the library, every single one of the librarians has a JD, which is wonderful because they know exactly what it is that you're looking for, as opposed to, here's a book, get after it. So which is great. And they also don't accept bribes, so you can't pay them to deliberately move books and stuff like that. So that's wonderful. In addition, the library has every single supplement you could ever want. You could check them out, you could scan them, you could send it to yourself, and to this day, I have not found a single page ripped out of any of them, so that's good as well. We also have a house system here at Emory that's done with our Dean of Students, Dean Brokaw, which is great because it's kind of Hogwarts style, but they put you in houses based on your LRAP class, your legal research and writing class. And what it allows you to do is it essentially gives you a built-in support network of people who have done what you are about to do. It's full of 1Ls, 2Ls, and 3Ls who are all in these houses. And it gives you a support network in terms of academics, in terms of social, in terms of geographic, which, as Ethan said, I'm from Southern California, so there aren't that many people here from there. So that was a huge help for me being able to do that. Overall, we have a pretty great day planned for you guys. And if nothing else, you'll get a lot more information about Emory, hopefully convince you'll be here, and you get some great barbecue for lunch. So I'll be the next to say, again, you'll hear this a lot throughout the day, welcome to Emory Law.
All right, where's Brittany Brown? Brittany, are you awake? Are you here? No, not yet. Okay. Deandra Whitby, where are you? Stand up. Where did you fly from? So she wins the award for the furthest trip here, came all the way from Qatar to be here. So we have a gift for you, so come on up and stuff and everything. We saw your plane ticket. I'm like, my gosh. I'm like, this is awesome. There you go. Perfect. So it's like, what, 2 a.m. over there now? I said, great. I'm glad you're here. It's my pleasure to introduce the dean of our law school, Robert Shapiro. Dean Shapiro has been here since 1995. He has been in the classroom. Every year he has been here teaching all different types of courses. What's unique about our dean is he teaches 1Ls as well, so you will see him. He does not just stay in his office. He interacts with students. He eats lunch in the student commons. He so enjoys meeting with students that when the students said, hey, we want to do an academic study group, he's like, oh, great, let's do it in my office. Travels around the world globally to engage Emory Law with our legal community throughout the country, throughout our world. I was just with him in Korea and China, where we're recruiting more students from there as our international population grows here. What's phenomenal about Dean Shapiro is that he had a vision a few years ago when he started Dean of where Emory Law was going to be, where we were and where we should be. And what you'll see, and what you're seeing now as you're examining schools, is that we're on the move. It's fun to be part of a community whose trajectory is very positively moving forward strongly. And that's all because of the efforts he has brought here. He hails from a Yale Law School where he was the editor-in-chief of the Law Review. He clerked on the United States Supreme Court, worked in a large law firm before we were fortunate enough that he chose our community. He and his wife and his daughters are an important part here. You will see them a lot. You'll see them today. You'll see him today in the classroom teaching some of the sample classes in your breakout groups. Don't be afraid to ask him any question because he wants you to be here. And he challenges us every day to ensure the experience that you get is worth every minute of your time that we have you. So it's my pleasure to introduce Robert Shapiro.
Well, thanks very much, Ethan. Thanks to Bo. Thanks to all our student volunteers. And thanks to all of you for traveling from far and near to be with us today. We're so proud to be able to show you our school and to introduce you to the Emory Law community. We talk a lot about community at Emory Law School. It's very important to us. We're a global community, a diverse community, but also a community that treats each student as an individual. We're concerned about each student's individual success, what classes he or she should take. As we'll hear, there's no one right way through Emory Law School. There's the way that's right for you, and that's what we are focused on, each and every one of you. So just wanted to say a little bit about me, about Atlanta. We're a global law school with our home in Atlanta, a little bit about Emory University, and then, of course, about Emory Law School and this great community of ours. It's about me. So I grew up in New York City. I worked in New York, I worked in Washington, I worked in North Carolina before coming here in 1995. This is my home, and I have to say I love it. I love cities that are exciting, they're vibrant, there's a lot to do in Atlanta. It's a great place to live. It's a place with lots of trees, it's an easy place to live, it's affordable, it's good food, good weather, usually a little cool today. But in addition to being a great place to live, it's a great place to study law. Because when you're thinking about where to go to law school, the city in which you're located turns out to be very important. What we do at Emory is connect closely with the vibrant legal profession in Atlanta and the corporate community as well. There are opportunities that are available at Emory only because we are in this vibrant community. Our transactional law program, one of the few in the country, we can do that because of our close connections with the Atlanta Bar, many of the classes taught by experienced practitioners from Atlanta. Our externship program, you can extern in some of the great corporations which are headquartered in Atlanta. Coca-Cola, UPS, Home Depot, Delta, and many, many more. All of those are available to you because we're in Atlanta. And we talk about other opportunities for externships as well. We're the home of the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. So when you want to do an externship, which is get some practical experience for credit, any court you want, federal, state, here in Atlanta. Any agency, state, federal, local, here in Atlanta. Public interest organizations, public defenders, prosecutors, whatever you might want to do is here in Atlanta. Just a little bit about Emory University. Hope you get a chance to look around a little bit. It is a great global research university with wonderful resources, all of which are available to you. So the Carter Center is part of Emory University. The Carter Center tends to work on global health, and health law is a specialty of Emory Law School. Also world peace issues. And of course, lawyers are very important for that. Former President Jimmy Carter is on our faculty and comes to speak at the law school every year. The Centers for Disease Control are just across the street. Again, when you want to study global health issues, this is the place to be. World-class faculty, whether Salman Rushdie, Alice Walker, all of that is available to you. As you'll see, the business school is across the street from the law school. The School of Public Health is down the road. The theology school is across the way. If you want, you could do joint degrees with any of those, or just take a few classes, whatever you want to do, and we'll work with you to help figure out what's the best program for you. So that's a bit about Emory University. But of course, it's the community Emory Law School, which I'm especially excited about. And what are the centerpieces of our community? It's the people, the students, and the faculty. Now, of course, we have outstanding students. You'll meet some of our current outstanding students, or you can just look around to see who will be the next group of outstanding students here. You were selected from thousands and thousands of applicants because of what you have shown. We know that you have the ability to succeed, as everybody at Emory Law School succeeds academically and as leaders. And you follow in a great tradition. Emory Law School is about 100 years old. In fact, we'll be celebrating our centennial in 2016, 2017. And we have a long history of leadership. I'd like to mention briefly, the first woman to graduate from any part of Emory University was Eleanor Rowell Green, who graduated from Emory Law School in 1920, then went on to an active career fighting for women's rights. I know some of you may be worried a little bit about, will you have some free time and about work-life balance? Well, you might want to remember that the legendary golfer Bobby Jones was a student at Emory Law School when he was the first amateur to win the British and American Open golf tournaments. So we don't actually recommend that today, but again, it's a possibility, a way to combine a little fun and study as well. And more recently, too, just for example, when I think, say, about the Affordable Care Act, which keeps being litigated, Obamacare, I think that's really an Emory Law story. The bill was written in large part by Ruth Katz, the Chief Public Health Counsel for the United States House of Representatives, Emory Law School class of 1977. It was enacted by a Congress that included Congressman Sandy Bishop, Emory Law School class of 1971, and Senator Cart Goodwin, Emory Law School class of 1999. As soon as it was signed into law, it was challenged by a group of attorney generals, including Georgia Attorney General Sam Olens, Emory Law School class of 1983. And then it was struck down by the United States Court of Appeals for the 11th Circuit in an opinion written by Judge Frank Hull, Emory Law School class of 1973, before it was eventually upheld. So whatever side of the issue you're on, you see those Emory lawyers in the lead. And also some of our more recent alumni showing leadership. I sometimes think about this kind of a fantasy road trip to visit some of our alums. So maybe we could start in Boston. Now, it's actually in the wake of the great tragedy of the Boston Marathon bombing 2 years ago, Attorney General Eric Holder looked for the best federal prosecutor in the country to take the lead. The person he chose was Alok Chakravarty, Emory Law School class of 1997. You can go visit him in Boston. And then we come down to New York. We have a very large alumni community. I was just visiting with David Edelman, who just finished being the United States ambassador to Singapore, and now is a partner at Reed Smith, leading a global deal practice there, Emory Law School class of 1989. Or you can head down to Washington. Maybe have lunch with Danny Marty, Emory Law School class of 1999, who just became the IP czar. President Obama designated him to be the chief enforcer of IP law. Or with Gwen Cleese Fleming, Emory Law School class of 1993, who's the chief of staff for the Environmental Protection Agency. Then you could drive through Atlanta, but you might want to head to Miami, which is a fun place for us, because one of our alums is Facundo Bacardi, Emory Law School class of 1996. Maybe share a libation with Mr. Bacardi at his headquarters. We often do events there in Miami. Then maybe you could head out towards Texas, visit with Judge Katharina Haynes, Emory Law School class of 1986, who was put by President George W. Bush on the United States Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit. And then you might want to end up in LA. By that time, maybe you need a new car. But that's okay, because Jeff Emory, Emory Law School class in 1986, owns Beverly Hills Porsche. So he'll set you up. No problem there. So, of course, in addition to the outstanding students that we have, and the new ones who will be joining us, we have our outstanding faculty. They are great scholars. You will Whatever law school you go to, you will study out of the books that they write. You read their op-eds in the papers. You see them on television. They're also dedicated teachers. We love to work with students. So when we do our research projects, students are always part of that. Professor Martha Grace Duncan is an expert in Amanda Knox. She went to Italy and also interviewed her. You might see that the Italian Supreme Court just overturned her conviction. Emory Law students worked with Martha Grace Duncan on that project. Or Professor Sasha Volokh, when he files briefs in the United States Supreme Court, he looks to the Emory Law School Supreme Court Advocacy Project, the only student-run Supreme Court advocacy project in the country, for assistance. Or as Ethan was mentioning, just sometimes some more informal ties. Some students came to me and said, why don't we do a reading group? I said, that's a great idea. So we get together from time to time and take turns picking articles to read. So it's that kind of scholarly interaction in and out of the classroom. And I have to say, we also just have a lot of fun together. So in a couple weeks, we're having our graduating student dinner, where the faculty serve dinner to our graduating students and sometimes engage of games of skill and chance. So if you see Professor Freer later, you can ask him about the tap dancing contest that he always competes in and generally wins. There's a push-up contest. And yes, I have to confess, I end up anchoring the faculty flip cup team. For parents who may not know what that is, you might or may not want to ask your student. So we spend a lot of time together in the classroom, but outside the classroom as well. And of course, we emphasize a curriculum here that integrates theory and practice. We have great classroom experiences, but great experiences outside as well. So I talked about our nation's best transactional law program. We have a trial techniques program, which all of our students take, where practicing lawyers come in from all over the country to work with you individually. We record you, give you some advice about how you might want to be a great litigator, which is useful whether you end up as a courtroom lawyer or not, that individual experience that we give you. Also, our Tiger program we heard about before, our intellectual property partnership with Georgia Tech. We also have a series of clinics. We have an environmental law clinic, a child law and policy center, and an international humanitarian law clinic, the only one in the United States that works closely with the military on issues of the law of war. General John Kelly, a four-star Marine general, was just here a couple weeks ago to talk to us about some of the important international law issues that he confronts every day. And of course, our externships, as I was saying, whatever you might want to do, there's an opportunity to do that in Atlanta. But it's not only the opportunities are there. We're going to be hearing in a minute from Lydia Russo, who's our assistant dean in charge of our Center for Professional Development and Career Strategy. Because what we emphasize is from the beginning of your time here to work with you. Some people have an idea of what they want to do. Sometimes that changes. Lots of students come in not being sure, but that's fine. We work with you from the day you arrive. We present all kinds of panels about different kinds of law, different practice settings to help you find what is the right specialty for you. And then we give you advice. What's the right series of courses to take? What might be some externships? Should you take a clinic? There's some bar association meetings. A lot of bar associations meet in Atlanta. We go with you to connect you with lawyers in the profession. So we help you chart your path through law school and then have a seamless transition thereafter. And when you do make that transition after law school, know that there is a strong family of Emory alumni there for you. As an Emory lawyer, you will never walk alone. Wherever you are, there will be those Emory lawyers. I was talking about the lawyers we have all across the country, and as Ethan mentioned, all across the world. So if it turns out China's the place you want to be, well, it happens that Jack Wong, Emory Law School class of 2002, is the managing partner of King & Wood in Shanghai. He'll be happy to help you there. Wherever you want to end up, there'll be an Emory lawyer there to help you. So I hope you get all your questions answered today. You learn a great deal about our community, and you think about taking your place in that great line of Emory lawyers. I have to say that it's a great tradition, and we look forward to re-establishing that every year. Once you come here, you're a member of the Emory Law family for life, and we love the idea of having new members of our family. So again, hope you have a great day, get your questions answered, then hope to see you in my civil procedure class in the fall. Thanks for being here.
Saladin Baroudi, where are you? What's on Monday? Not your birthday? Wait a second. Oh, no. It is your birthday. Exactly. So don't do that to me. So come on up. Get a prize. Good. Are you ready, Lydia? It's my pleasure to introduce our Dean of Career Services, our Center for Professional Development and Career Strategies, Lydia Russo. You can read her bio in your brochure. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about when we interviewed with you. And Lydia, the dean ensured we had a national search for our next career dean a few years ago. And Lydia came in, and I'm sitting there, and kind of stern, and she said, why do you want to do this? And talk to me, and she said, I know that you're not going to believe me. I really like getting people jobs. And I'm like, no one's ever said it that straightforward. And it's true. And over the last few years we've worked together, I have never seen anyone who comes every day so engaged and positive, and your energy is contagious, to ensure that you have the career path that you came here to achieve and to help you get a job. We don't mind being that straightforward about it, because it's why you're coming, part of why you're coming to the law school experience. She has transformed the career office into one of the most welcoming group of over 15 staff members that I have ever worked with. I'll give you an example. So we saw a job at Delta Airlines. I call that, free airline job, free travel job. And so we're like, we've got to get someone to this job. And we spent days strategizing, okay, we advertised it to everybody, who can we help promote, get Delta to understand that these are the students they want to bring on. And we're very successful once we find the right matches through the work we do with you individually and the work we do with our alums and our community to ensure that whether you want to work in New York or Atlanta or LA or China, or I met Elliot in Wyoming, we will help you get there. It's my pleasure to introduce Lydia Russo.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Let me begin by saying that I consider it to be a true privilege to be here this morning speaking with all of you. It's not lost on me for one moment that you are all making some big decisions in your life right now. So it's especially warming to my heart as I walked around this morning and saw so many of your loved ones here in the building, parents, significant others, and friends. So welcome to all of you, and thank you for the support that you're already giving to your students and for the support that you will continue to provide over the years. So as Dean Rosenzweig said, my name is Lydia Russo. I'm the Assistant Dean for the Center for Professional Development and Career Strategy. And my team, the Career Center team, exists to help you become the lawyer that you want to be. So there are, as I understand, about 260 admitted students in this room. And as a career advisor, to me that means that there are 263 unique career paths that you will be embarking upon. There is no one-size-fits-all. There is no right path. There are many ways for you to be successful in the profession of law and to be fulfilled and have a fulfilling career. So it's no secret that the legal market took a great hit when the recession hit us. While employment prospects are indeed improving, it continues to be a competitive market. So yes, the market has changed, but Emory has adapted. Our Career Center has grown a lot. We're a team of 12 now, including 9 attorney advisors. The school offers new and strengthened experiential learning opportunities so that you can blend the theory that you're learning from the fantastic faculty here at Emory with the actual practice of law. And it's worth saying that as an Emory Law student and then an Emory Law alum, while the market has changed, you will be entering a very elite group of attorneys. So let me walk you through how we're going to work with you to become the lawyer you want to be. First, we're going to help you discover the path that is right for you. So what do lawyers do? What is the landscape of choices that you have? Many of you know this already, some of you don't. As a lawyer, you can work as a solo practitioner or in a large law firm. You can be a prosecutor or work for any number of government agencies. As a lawyer, you can work for a civil rights organization, or perhaps an organization supporting a specific cause like environmental issues, child advocacy, mental health. And then there's the whole world of alternative legal careers, compliance, nonprofits, consulting. So truly your choices are as vast as your imagination can make them. So there's so many choices, and you might be thinking right now, how do I possibly choose? What do I know in terms of what's going to make me happy? And that's the critical piece to us. We want you to wake up every morning feeling excited about your job. My very first mentor when I was in private practice, his name was Bob Michler. Every morning I'd be sitting at my desk and I could hear Bob, as soon as he got out of the elevator, he was whistling a happy tune with his briefcase, come around, saying hi to everyone. He'd peek in my office and at least one day a week he'd say, "Lydia, I can't believe they pay me to do this." He loved his job. And that is what we want for each and every one of you. So in case anyone is feeling at all overwhelmed at the prospect of having to pick this right path, let me assure you that you're going to have a dedicated partner at Emory every step of the way. Each of you will have a career advisor who is going to work with you throughout your 3 years at Emory. And based on student feedback, students now have the same advisor all 3 years. And with this new system, we've gone from 70% of the first-year class being engaged and working closely with our office to 98%. We have a dream team of advisors. These are attorneys who had successful legal careers that they've leveraged to find their own passion. And that's helping other law students find their passion in the law. They also happen to have some pretty amazing contacts all around the country, and that's pretty useful. Your advisor is going to be your personal career coach, and you're going to get to know your advisor really well. It will probably be one of the closest relationships that you form while you're at Emory. And your advisor is also going to be an accountability partner. We're going to help you stay on track, keep you motivated, because you're busy at law school, but the job search has got to be one of your main focuses. Let me share with you some of the comments I've received recently from students about our advisors. This is from a 1L. Lauren was amazing. She laid out exactly what I needed to do in order to obtain my goals and provided me with additional resources. I will be making another appointment soon to utilize her expertise. This from a 2L. My appointment today with Sarah was very helpful, and she was able to help me create a plan. When I came to her office, I was very lost. I did not know the hows and whens to start searching for a career in the field I am in, but after speaking with her, I feel more confident and relieved because I have a plan. And this is not unusual. I'm extremely lucky to receive feedback like this about our advisors all the time. All right, so you have a partner, you have an ally, you're ready to roll. Back to discovering the path that's right for you. Well, several years ago at Emory, we established a model that is very unique among law schools. We broke down the practice of law into 23 areas, and we developed a society around each of those. And the societies mirror the way in which the legal profession has organized itself. So we have a labor and employment law society, a corporate and business law society, child and family law, criminal law. These are all student-led organizations that receive a tremendous amount of assistance from our faculty experts, from key alumni practitioners around the country, and each society has a dedicated career strategy advisor. We kick off every year with our Kagan Horowitz Practice Society premiere. This is a wonderful opportunity for all students, but particularly for first-year students, to talk to attorneys from all 23 practice areas and, quite frankly, window shop. Get the chance to test out different areas. What feels right? What's interesting? What sounds miserable to you? These are good. Checking things and then crossing things off the list is all very good use of your time. This past year at the Practice Society premiere, we had a great story. One of our students had recently told his advisor he thought he wanted to do tax law. At the premiere, the advisor introduced the student to one of the attorneys at the tax law table. He happens to run a top-notch international tax boutique here in Atlanta. The student and the attorney hit it off. And the student was offered an academic year job working at the firm. He's done such a fantastic job, he was just offered a postgraduate offer. So the practice societies is not just the premier. They offer another 50 to 60 events every year where they really help you, as you can imagine, narrow your interests and also make invaluable contacts in the process. So at this point, many of you will still need additional guidance and finding the right path for you. And our team is prepared for that. We'll do deeper dives into self-assessment as appropriate. We have self-assessment tools. We will do one-on-one sessions with you or small group workshops to determine your strengths, interests, and values, and to narrow your interests even further. A student recently told me that this workshop was an excellent boost to his spirit, and I loved hearing that. So once you've honed in on your interest, how do you communicate those intelligently to employers? Well, we're going to help you create your professional narrative. And your narrative has got to resonate with employers. It's got to be compelling to employers. So we've polled, surveyed, interviewed employers around the country. We know what they're looking for. We know what guides their hiring decisions. Are you curious? Well, first, our research illustrates that employers want to see application materials and hear personal pitches that tell a cohesive and targeted story. Your resume and your cover letter need to show that you have a demonstrated interest in and enthusiasm for the job you're applying for. So your advisor will work closely with you to make sure that your documents prove that you have this demonstrated interest in and enthusiasm for the job. How are we going to do that? Well, first, we just spoke about practice societies. Let me tell you about Lindsay Stewart. She's a recent graduate. She came into my office when she was a second-year student. She said, "Lydia, I just have this idea that I want to do real estate law." She had nothing on her resume that spoke to real estate, but she had been speaking to some attorneys at an event, and she said, "They just sound like happy people, and I want to do that kind of work." So I advised her to get active in the Practice Law Society, the Real Estate Practice Law Society. She quickly became president, and she was able to use that story in her cover letter to land an academic year job at a real estate boutique here in Atlanta. She then was able to leverage that experience to get a permanent job as an associate in her preferred city, Charleston, South Carolina. So again, we're showing and proving that demonstrated interest and enthusiasm. You can also prove this through the courses that you take. Now, you might not be able to read everything on this slide, but let me tell you what it shows. I mentioned we have 23 practice areas, and we have a proprietary website where we have all 23 practice areas broken out. We show for each area, this is corporate and business, which courses you should take if you're interested in this particular kind of law, which externships are best suited for you, which faculty members teach in this area. You're going to want to get to know them, and what skills you want to develop while you are in law school. So let me give you some examples. Let's say you want to work for a judge, clerk for a judge after graduation. Fantastic. Your writing skills have got to be top notch. So fortunately at Emory, you have a whole first year of foundational experience that you're going to get in legal research and writing. And then after that, if you so choose, you can take advanced legal writing with Tim Terrell. Professor Terrell is a national expert on legal writing. He travels the country teaching judges and partners at big law firms how to write. And you're going to have the opportunity to learn from him while you are a student. Imagine having that on your resume if you're going to be applying for a judicial clerkship. Let's say you come into the office and you say to your advisor, "I'm interested in doing complex mergers and acquisitions deals." Okay, fantastic. We're going to guide you towards the Center for Transactional Law and Practice. Emory's transactional law program is extensive and among the best in the country. And let me tell you, employers go nuts when we start talking about this program. They love the idea of being able to hire a student who has already simulated complex deals from beginning to end. Again, we're demonstrating on your resume that you have interest and enthusiasm for the job that you're applying for. So now your application materials are starting to sing. But now it's time to look at that experience section. We want to grow your experience. And why? Because employers consistently tell us that while grades are important, Training and experience in a high-demand practice area is key. In fact, for some employers, such experience trumps grades. And so you've got to gain targeted experience. And this is why going to law school in Atlanta is such a phenomenal idea. You can wake up, go to class, and then hop downtown to do your externship at Coca-Cola, or literally walk up the street to your externship at the Centers for Disease Control, or head over to Decatur and represent criminal defendants in court under the Third Year Practice Act. Atlanta ranks third in the country for the number of Fortune 500 headquarters, and the regional offices of nearly every federal agency are nearby. And Atlanta being the state capital, as Dean Shapiro mentioned earlier, we have the state Supreme Court here, every state agency, and then we have federal courts, the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, the United States District Court for the Northern District of Georgia, and the United States Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Georgia, all sit in Atlanta. So there are countless opportunities for experiential learning in our wonderful city of Atlanta. Atlanta also happens to be a really fabulous city where there are wonderful restaurants that I can attest to. We have really fun music festivals, beautiful parks, but I digress. I could probably work for the Chamber of Commerce. I love Atlanta so much. But what I'm trying to say is that I went to law school at the University of Florida, great law school. But living in Gainesville, Florida, I simply did not have opportunities to gain experience during the year, like you would here at Emory. So having the opportunities in Atlanta will set you apart from other candidates. And then you can leverage this experience that you get in Atlanta to find work in any other city in the world. Let me tell you about Vanessa Lee. She is a class of 2013 graduate. During her time at Emory, she did everything right. She gained experience. I think she was at the United States Department of Labor. She also did some child advocacy work for the Georgia Supreme Court. But then during her third year, circumstances changed, and she needed to move out to Seattle, Washington, where she had not yet developed her professional network. So she used Emory Law's Bridge to Practice Fellowship, which is an extension of our experiential learning offerings, to launch her career in Seattle. She worked as a fellow for a small civil litigation firm until she ultimately landed her dream job, her words, not mine, working as an associate for the Seattle office of Gordon & Reese, a large firm. And the firm said a big part of the reason why they hired her was because of the experience that she gained when she was a fellow. So training and experience in a high-demand practice area are key. You know what else employers care about? Your soft skills. A study came out last month showing that attorneys ranked interpersonal skills twice as important as critical thinking and analytical skills for recent graduates. Even if you intend to be an attorney who researches all day, head down, and not communicate with another human being, you still have to get the job, right? And once you get the job, you've got to keep the job. And a big part of that is learning how to bring in new clients and how to keep your existing clients happy. All interpersonal skills. So we take this very seriously at Emory. We're going to teach you how to work a room. We're going to teach you how to start and end a conversation without being awkward. We hire experts to teach you how to do this. We also have an international business etiquette expert come to our 1L Bass Career Summit every year. At the bottom of the slide is Mary Crane. She is a firecracker. She's a former attorney and a former White House chef. And she's going to teach you which fork to use when, which one of these bread plates is actually mine, the one on the left or the right. You're going to be having informational meetings and interviews over meals with prospective employers. And at Emory, we don't leave anything to chance. We want to make sure you're ready. We're also going to give you plenty of opportunities to practice your interpersonal skills. Just this past Tuesday night, we had speed networking. We do this every year. We had about 25 attorneys from 25 different firms and organizations who were able to speak with all of our students very informally to get them comfortable with networking. I had a student who was a little bit nervous about this event, though she needed not be, but she was nervous, and she came to our office asking how she should approach the event strategically. So I saw her after the event was over, and she said, I could not believe how natural that felt to talk to all of the attorneys. And what I loved about that is you can learn these skills. If it's not innate to you to make small talk, we'll teach you. And that's an important part of what our office does. So guess where else employers have the perfect opportunity to assess your interpersonal skills? The interview. Dun, dun, dun. You're going to be interviewing with all kinds of attorneys. They could be partners at big law, they could be federal judges, prosecutors. But if you're at Emory, fear not. We have a dedicated mock interviewer on our team. Her name is Ragi. She will simulate any employer in the country and teach you to effectively convey your story and engage intelligently with that particular employer. She had a student email her just the other day saying, I cannot even imagine how my interviews would have gone had I not done the mock interview with you. I ended up with 3 offers in New York City and 1 in Atlanta. So if you meet with Ragi, trust me, you're going to be prepared and you're going to nail that interview. Okay, so now you're ready to get in front of employers. Your resume and your cover letter tell a compelling story. You have the targeted experience that the employer is seeking, you're prepped for your interviews, and you can make small talk with the best of them. So here's where we swoop back in and help you find a job in your preferred city doing what it is that you want to do. So we are aggressive on outreach to employers nationwide. We have many career fairs, but our flagship program is in New York City. The number of employers for Emory in New York has gone up every year for the past 5 years, and we've gone from 1 day of interviews to now 2 full days of interviews for Emory law students. We also just joined a consortium of law schools that will provide our students with 3 times the number of Washington, D.C. employers as we've had in the past, and we're offering a brand new Chicago interview program and a San Francisco interview program. We do employer visits year-round. In fact, one of our senior directors, Michelle Valteau, just returned from a recruiting trip to New York City and D.C. And employers come on campus whenever they want at Emory, not just 1 or 2 weeks a year. I think it's also worth mentioning that an additional 1,200 employers approximately send us their job postings annually for our Emory Law Job Board. This is important because every single year the statistics show us that 30% of our graduates get their job from a job posting. So if there's an actual job out there and our students apply, they're getting these jobs. So capitalizing on that, our team goes out mining for jobs. In the markets that interest our students most, we will find postings and add them to the job board. That results in an additional 750 or so jobs posted each year. So remember how I said your advisors are going to get to know you very well? Well, if they see an opportunity that matches your interests, they're going to send it to you. And this is really unique to Emory. I've been doing this kind of work now for over 10 years, and I can assure you that no other school will work with you as closely and as proactively as we do at Emory. If you are my student, and I know that you want to do immigration law in Southern California, then you better believe that any time I hear about an opportunity in immigration or in Southern California, I'm going to tell you. We're also going to help you find a job in your city of interest by connecting you with our Alumni Network of over 10,000 alumni internationally. This is so important. I simply cannot understate the power of our Alumni Network. None of us in this room knows where we're going to be 10 years from now, but you can rest assured that there will be a community of Emory alumni wherever life takes you. And these are really engaged alumni. I want to tell you about a few of them. Rob Kaufman, top row, second from the left. Rob owns his own successful firm here in Atlanta. He was actually at Speed Networking on Tuesday night. He was the last person to leave, by the way. He wouldn't leave until every student who wanted to talk to him had that opportunity. He has also sponsored Emory Law Fellows through our Bridge to Practice program and has hired 5 of them permanently over the last 2 years. John Maggio, just to the left of Rob. John's our incoming alumni board president. He's a partner with a stellar New York City boutique firm that specializes in aviation law. He's also sponsored fellows that the firm has gone on to hire permanently. Whenever his firm is hiring, he shoots me an email that very same day. Patrice Perkins Hooker, just below John. She's not only the president of the State Bar of Georgia, but she's also the vice president and general counsel for the Atlanta Beltline. If you haven't heard of this project, Google it. It's an extremely cool sustainable redevelopment project that is literally transforming the city of Atlanta. And who does Patrice call when she needs a law clerk? The Emory Career Center. So you may be thinking to yourself, okay, but how do I get in touch with these alumni? And do they really want to help me? Yes, they really do. We've had so many alumni raise their hands and say, I want to help. I know the market is challenging and I want to help. That we created a resource last year called the Emory Law Ask an Alum program on LinkedIn. This is a screenshot. What I wanted to show you is we already have over 800 members on Ask an Alum. And look how cool this is. We've got someone on here, Trenton Ward, he's an administrative patent judge. We've got someone in a large firm in New York City. We have someone in San Diego here, someone in-house in Washington, D.C. And there's 800. These are all people who have just told us this year, we want to help. Law students should feel extremely comfortable reaching out to me. I have to share one example here because it's just too funny. A student came in to speak with her advisor last month, and she said, I know this sounds crazy, Lori, but I've always wanted to work for Walt Disney. And so Lori and the student got on Ask an Alum. They went to that little search box in the upper right-hand corner and put in Disney. And what do you know? We have an alum whose title is the Principal Counsel for Disney Princess and Fairies Licensing. And she wants to help Emory Law students find jobs. Beyond Ask an Alum, your career advisor will also reach out to alumni on your behalf. We're very proactive this way. I'm working with a fantastic third-year student right now who's dying to be in New York City doing securities work. He saw a job posting that interested him. He came in. We found an alum who happens to work at the firm, connected him, and he just got back from having a wonderful interview with the firm last week. All right, let's fast forward 3 years here. You're now in your 3L year, and at this point, you've discovered your unique path. You've learned not only what you can do with a JD, you also now know what you want to do with your JD. You've developed your skills and your confidence. You've gained targeted experience through your externships and academic year jobs. You've connected with Emory alumni in your cities of interest. And to me, most importantly, you've learned how to tell your story. And that is so critical because, yes, we're helping you to look for a job now, but you can use these exact same skills and create your own professional narrative 10 years from now if you want to make a career move. So when it comes time for you to walk across that stage and receive your diploma in front of these very same guests that are here with you today, you will be ready to embark upon a richly rewarding career. And let me close by telling you that you will have our office's support for as long as you need it. I don't care if it's 3 months, 3 years, 30 years, or if you're living in Miami or Houston or Philadelphia, our office will be here to work with you. It's till death do us part in the Emory Law Career Center, and we mean it. So you have my personal commitment, and you have my team's personal commitment to work with you to achieve your hopes and dreams that you have for yourself and that your loved ones here in this room have for you. We're here to help you discover and then become the lawyer you want to be. So thank you again. It's been a privilege speaking with you. I'm going to be around today. Please stop me if you have any questions or reach out to me directly. All of my contact information can be found on our website. Now I'm going to turn it back to Dean Rosenzweig to tell us a little about the transition back to Gambrell Hall. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Lydia. That was great. I want to share a couple of quick anecdotes before we move forward here. I wanted to talk, to put a little more specifics on a couple of things here. The externships you will do here. So when I was in law school, my law school roommate was working at Coca-Cola with, I'd say, about 10 other alums at that time and some other students as well. He'd come back, I'm like, oh, free Coke, what'd you do? He's like, I really can't tell you. And I'm like, what a jerk. I mean, like, because I didn't have that externship, and I was like, enjoy your future. So, if you go, so about 3 or 4 years ago, a machine came out, and I think it's countrywide now, where it's a touch screen. You can choose over 250 flavors of soda. It's called the Freestyle machine. And Emory students were working on the licensing and patenting of that device. And he finally was able to tell me, that's what we were working on. We were in a secret room, and we would see different mock-ups of it. He was 24 years old. That's what he was working on. You'll be doing that. Porsche USA, we laugh about Porsche. We have a great Porsche connection. We did an event at that Porsche in Beverly Hills. The dean's like, don't touch anything when you're there and stuff. I mean, so. But Porsche USA is actually headquartered in Atlanta. If you fly in, you will see their test track now at the edge of the first runway. And Emory students actually work at Porsche USA as law clerks. It's a very competitive one. We have students there. So those are very fun opportunities, along with the other 100 opportunities that we talk about in your brochure. You notice Lydia didn't talk about statistics. And look, I'm on, I enjoy the boards, the chat boards I call them. I know that's not the technical name where we talk about law school admission. And I know a lot of people talk about that. We have sent you all of our statistics. We are never going to hide that. It's very important. We are very proud of those. You're going to get a job. I mean, you're investing here for that reason. So we don't spend as much time talking about statistics. We want to talk about what gets us to those numbers. You should have received those. If you didn't, let me know. We'll send you another packet. I just don't have them with me, but we've sent those out to everyone, and we try to be as transparent as possible in our job search. Lydia, her colleagues, Michelle Valteau and Laura Yoret are right back there as well. They are here all day to ensure you have your personal questions answered. When I went to law school, I had no idea what I wanted to do, but again, the guy next to me was like, I'm going to be an international merger and transition law. I'm like, oh, good for you. And that's great. And I'm freaking out because I'm like, I have no idea what I want to do. I should do that. That sounds really good. My parents are like, yeah, that sounds good. You should think about that. So it's okay. And I think as you're traveling around the different visiting days, if you were like me, you're going to see more and more people who are vocal about what they want to do. And the people like me that are like, I just want to explore it and do the buffet that we offer you. Well, that's why we're here, because a lot of people don't know. I would argue over half of the students we admit have no idea, and that's why we admitted you, because it's more fun to help shape you. Now, look, if you came out of the womb saying, I'm going to do tax, come see me because I need help with my taxes as well and stuff. And we're going to help you do that well, and that's great. That's great. It's going to help you along your path, but you're not behind. I want to be clear, because I know you get a lot of material that showcase all these different alums, and you're like, I don't know yet. I've changed jobs 3 times to find the path that I wanted in education administration. I have my law degree, I have my master's. That's just my path. We're all going to help you with your individual paths as well. And then finally, you're not going to meet Raghi today, but Raghi, as Lydia mentioned, is our mock interview expert. And my heart jumps just thinking, I mean, it's intimidating sometimes to walk in there and do interviews. Some of our students have to go through panel interviews. If you're going through the Presidential Management Fellowship, where we place a lot of students in government leadership jobs, we have a strong public service, public interest connection at Emory. We have an assistant dean of public service. Those interviews are panel interviews, almost like congressional hearings. Raghi will work with you to ensure that when you walk in there, unlike the other 100 applicants, you've done it 3 times. So this is just another step on the way. So I want to stress Raghi so much as well. Finally, I have one regret when I went to Emory Law School before I started my practice, and then a couple of other jobs before I got here, was that I took random courses because we did not have a program set up. And Lydia showed it to you, where if you say, I'm thinking about sports law, here are some 10 courses that we think you should take at Emory so that when you graduate, you have that package. I took great courses. It took me time to put them together and how that's going to help me with my path. That's critical, and I don't know of many law schools that do that to ensure that when you graduate, you don't come off the stage saying, well, that was fun, now what? We want you to come off the stage saying, ready to go. And we're still with you. I can't stress this enough. We have more alums coming in for career guidance. Talk about, okay, I'm 10 years in the practice, what's my next path? or I really love this, how do I expand my practice? So like Lydia said, no one's leaving you. You'll be with us for your whole career. All right, let's talk about the transition over to the law school very quickly. Our next event is the sample classes. That's my fun when you have the cases. Don't worry if you didn't read it. They're not going to call on you if you don't want to be called on. It's okay. Everyone goes to this. Guests, partners in crime, spouses, everyone that you brought with you will go to these sessions based on your student's last name. So when you get to the law school, there will be people there to direct you. Tull Auditorium is on the 3rd floor. I just want to stress that. Sometimes we're directionally challenged. All right. And we're going to head over to the law school. Let's talk about this. We have buses upstairs if you don't want to drive over. If you are leaving the law school and going straight to the airport or the bus or driving somewhere else, you should bring your luggage with you. And we have a place for you to drop it off. I get nervous with iPads because I've lost 3 of them because I lose everything. So I would hold on to your iPads or something like that because I don't want to be the one losing them for you and things and stuff. But bring your luggage with you. If you're coming back to the hotel or you have a later departure, we will have buses that will leave after visiting day back here, or you can walk back also. It's about 3/4 of a mile. If you're driving, you're going to make a left out of the conference center. At the 6th light, you're going to make another left. Of course, today, Clifton Road is under construction because we're building a new medical complex, so we know it's going to take a little time to get there, so no worries on that. After that session, students are going to your breakout groups that are on your name tags, and there should be maps and instructions on where to go from there. Parents and guests and friends, we're going to the 3rd floor for a special session. So after this session, the smaller sessions are just for students. Then we've got barbecue lunch outside. I get to pick that caterer, so it's really good, or at least I like it. We do lunch outside. It's going to be 50 degrees, so for people from Atlanta, we know that's maybe not as comfortable. It's going to be sunny. Thank you for that. So if outside is not to your liking, we have classrooms to eat in, plenty of space. We have a housing fair, a student activity fair. We have Italian ices, because who thought it would be 50 degrees today? For everybody, we have cupcakes, cookies. There's so much food that you should be full by the time of the end of the day there. I just want to make sure everyone knows. So after that, during lunch, we have sessions. So if you're interested in the Center for Transactional Practice, that's our business law intensive 2-year curriculum as part of the 3 years at Emory, or the Tiger program, that's our IP program. If you're interested in externships, or our clinics, our child law clinic, which so many of you I know are interested in when I read your files, our environmental law clinic, our humanitarian law clinic, our volunteer veterans clinic, our nationally awarded volunteers veteran clinic. We'll have sessions throughout lunch on that. We'll talk about financial aid, some student panels as well. If you have any questions, we'll be here, but for now, I'd appreciate if everyone could, as we say, hustle in the South over to the law school. The buses are upstairs. I'll see y'all shortly. Thank you so much.